The safety talk is excited. You hear the music blowing. And of course, fam of the show, Jay Tuck, man. How we feeling, guys?
I don't know what Spoon's celebrating, but I'm celebrating a few things over here on my side. So,
Okay. Yeah. Spoony?
Yes, sir.
For the people. How you feeling?
Celebrating. Wait a minute. We got the tag team champs in the building with the manager here, and we asking ourselves, what are we celebrating? Are we celebrating? Finally, we got a safety, and we ain't negotiating with another safety, and that means another safety won't be here that we have to worry about. That means we make up another safety. Celebration time, baby. Safety in the house.
Hey, I ain't celebrating until that ink's dry, man, because there's a lot of stuff floating on right now. But I feel like for you, Spoon, we're getting closer to being able to put the Xavier Woods conversation to rest. But I wouldn't celebrate too early, man. You don't want to pull a Leon Lett, man, and fumble before you're in the end zone.
All right.
That is true. That is true. No. It's a great start, though. It's a positive start.
Yeah, man.
What's up, Cam?
Yeah, what's going on to the guys? Let me check the group, man. Matt Owens in the building. Professor O, our guy Mo's back again. Shout out to Steve back in this thing. Brian, the Beard Gang in here representing. Mendoza's in the building. Maurice Edwards. Joseph Sandberg is back. Hey, man. Hey, and off top, man, I guess we just, we're going to jump right into it. As you saw that my guy Spoonie was so excited. His biggest fear looks like don't get too far ahead, but as J Tuck just said, man, looks like we are fixing to go ahead and be able to say no more Xavier Woods here. The Cowboys do sign a safety. Mr. Kearse, come on down if you will. Guys, Mr. Kearse in the building. What do you think?
Man.
Okay.
I mean, I think for the most part, he's going to be a special teams guy. I don't think he's really going to be adding much to the safety position. I think I just saw conversations that Hooker and Kazee is still on the board as far as talks with the Cowboys is concerned. And also, man, my guy Mike from Blitzes and Burgers, man, he said Hooker got a little taste of that Cowboys Nation dopamine today, man, because we were all feeding into it, texting them and tweeting them back and forth, man. So hopefully that deal gets worked out. And then if we were to sign Malik Hooker, then we can turn on that celebration music, Spoon. But as of right now, we're just bringing in Kearse. I feel like it's just another special teams edition. Nothing to be too excited about.
My guy Matt Owen dropped this in here, and he said, as far as the difference between Darian Thompson and Kearse in coverage being a bigger body, Thompson obviously gave up in 19 65% completion, 74% completion, 4 touchdowns and 22 touchdowns in 19. And then you go look at Kearse, now, 3 years ago, 70%, but then 57% year before last, 61%, only 1 touchdown in the 3 years. So, again, for the depth signing, right? Depth signing, big boy. He's a big boy, 6'4". We're starting to see Dan Quinn and what he wants with this defense and what's going on, right? And you got a big guy that's going to help you on special teams. On paper, right? It does upgrade, from at least Darian Thompson. Maybe not upgrade you from Xavier Woods yet, Spoon.
Right.
But it does upgrade. So, Spoon, what do you think about Mr. Kearse getting in the building and getting signed to a 1-year deal?
Well, I must say, I'm happy. Why? Because special teams, insurance for maybe Donovan Wilson.
We're going to talk about that, Joseph.
Maybe a little bit of Cam Chancellor, kind of like, with him, where you can put him in certain packages where he'll play that box role, covering the tight end, certain things. And guess what? He plays 100% of the time. Motor. He gives it all. I like that because I know they're going to sign another safety. They're going to sign another safety, start, and draft him a safety.
What lets you know, Spoon, this is not going to be Chris Westry 2.0, though? Like, it's, it kind of smells like another Westry, and...
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. the difference between... And I love Westry. I love Westry coming out. We all love Westry. The problem is they never played him. Now, he moved on. I think he went to Houston.
Okay.
He got signed by Houston, I believe. But they never played him. They never used him. They were still trying to figure out what type of scheme they're going to run. We're going to use X, Y, and Z. I love what Dan Quinn is doing. Dan Quinn is saying, F all that. I'm bringing the guys in here who I think is going to play this defense the right way, change up the attitude. And you can't always say, stick with your guys, because every guy you keep, it may not be that good. And they're replacing that. And I'm loving that. I'm loving it. So I'm expecting another high, hopefully before the show ends, so we can continue on with the celebration song.
Yeah, and of course, and that's what's going on currently as we're speaking. See, Walker, that they have been in negotiations with Kazi and with Malik Hooker. It's, maybe it's a question who wants to get to the table first and eat, if you will. Kazi's still going to be up there with meeting with the Lions tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken, is where he's at right now currently. But they are actively negotiating with both. And I've come out and said before, I'd love to get them both signed. I don't think that's a deal, especially once Kearse is signed. They're going to add another guy, and it'll either be Hooker or Kazi. We just have to wait and see. For me, and I talked about this some with Matt on a Space Cowboy last night. I would like them to actually take a flyer on Hooker and sign him to a 2-3 year deal, not a 1 year deal. Mm-hmm. That's kind of where I would like to see and walk this thing out and see what's on the back end of that. But either way, either one of them coming spells the end of Xavier Woods. And that's big. And Matt on checking with the Kearse says he's actually played quite a bit though for a backup. He's a big upgrade, and that's the biggest thing. We're not asking him to come in here. Let's be clear when it's talking about Kearse. We're not excited from the aspect of let's set the expectations here, guys. I guess we're not excited that we got a guy, he's a starter, and we can sink our teeth into this guy. What we're excited about is we're upgrading the depth, right? And we're taking the safety position a little bit more seriously, right? We're going to get some of these guys that we just looked at last year, like, my God, I mean, they rotated them. You couldn't do anything with them, and they're going to be out the door is what we can kind of take solace in. So it's the upgrade of the infrastructure is what we're excited about, not the idea that Kearse is going to come in here and be a world changer for the defense, right? J-Tuck?
Yeah. I can see that. It's more about depth. But when it comes down to it, my question I want to ask you guys is, what is the sense of urgency to get these depth guys in-house? Like, I feel like there's more of a sense of urgency to get, special teams type guys, more depth guys versus actual cornerstone starting pieces when it comes to like a Hooker. Why are you letting Hooker walk out of the building without the deal being done? So I don't understand the sense of urgency when it comes to Cowboys. I mean, you think about what we signed thus far. I mean, there hasn't been anyone that really moves the needle forward besides the Keanu O'Neal and maybe Urban if he's going to be a day one starter, but I think he'll be probably more rotational as well.
Right. Spoonie, you want to answer that first, or you want me to take that one?
Well, you know me. I was ready, and I'm messenger. I was ready, tight as it is when I heard that they left the building. Right. And I agree with Tuck. The sense of urgency. You got the medicals right there. You should be able to negotiate right there and there. Oh, listen. Go somewhere quietly. We're gonna hit you guys in 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and then start something up, or go to separate rooms. The medical is right there. I don't know if there was a personal workout. I know Dan Quinn wasn't there. They were saying Dan Quinn wasn't there, nor was
And I think that's the big thing. The big thing was that Quinn and them was out there at J.C. Horn's pro day today. We're going to talk some cornerback here in a little bit, guys. Stick around for that. We're going to do some Surtain versus Horn. Might surprise some folks. But with that being said, they had to wait till they got back in house. All right, here's what we looked at. Here's what happened. And maybe they need the old check off, if you will. However, with that being said, the Kearse thing happened. Now they're negotiating with both. I think our position, and here's the stump, if you like a guy, we just never let him get out of the building. It's just a different day now. It's a different age. Things work differently now than what they used to do. And I think that's a big part of it. Again, I'm pulling for Hooker. I'm excited for either one. There'll be a bridge gap guy because I imagine they're going to get 1 year deals, right? And then we'll go draft this guy, and that's just Stephen Jones got for us last year got a little loose in free agency. Oh, a Poe, a McCoy, a Ha. He's like, yeah, okay. I'm just gonna go back to getting these solid guys that fit this defensive scheme to help against the run. Here's your splash, Neil, and we're gonna go draft. I felt a little burned last year, and maybe that's part of it,
How would you compare this year's offseason versus last year's offseason? That's a question I asked on Twitter. I mean, without knowing the end result, how things happen. But
well, I tell you this, with the COVID year, it was a lot of ups and downs. This year was more live. Why? The best free agent that we signed so far was Dak Prescott, and I think once we went into that, We all wanted Tomlinson, Dalvin Tomlinson. We always scream at the top of the head, Dalvin. We didn't get Dalvin Tomlinson. So we also wanted the safeties. But what happened? The top 3 got all tagged. And I'm pretty, right. I feel confident enough that one of them we would want to after hard. Maybe Marcus Williams the most, if anything. Because Dan Quinn, there's an article that came out that Dan Quinn told Stephen Jones, I need a body in that middle, in a DT, and I need a safety. I mean, I really needed a safety. And the only thing is that we couldn't, I would not sacrifice the 10th overall pick to get one of those safeties compared to it. And I kept on saying, if Malik Hooker is there, I will take a chance on Malik Hooker. Donovan Wilson is the future. Take a chance on Malik Hooker, draft you a safety. And let Malik be that bridge. And on top of that, if Malik turns out to be the Malik Hooker that we know he could be, we hit the jackpot. So that I think this off season was much better, more better depth than last year. We're going back to the same scheme that the defense showed out in 2018, pretty good. And I think with Dan, we know Christopher Shaw was running it, but now with Dan Quinn, who was the teacher of that scheme, I think it's going to be more better, especially with the type of guy he's surrounding the Cowboys. Hey, I'm even warming up to the idea for what you guys was telling me. Maybe a Richard Sherman. He can't. Yeah, Dan Quinn is in my beginning and
the word is that the Cowboys have reached out to Richard Sherman already. He just hasn't picked up the phone. So that's kind of a wait and see thing. And to talk to your question, I think here's my thing. I think last year there was a lot of former first round guys, things of that ilk. I think that this year the big difference is that these are and a lot of people gonna say you're going bargain shopping again and everything, and I understand that. I do understand that that because you don't know the names and what did they do before or whatever. But I think when you start looking at the actual numbers and what they bring to the table, the Bashams. Okay, now we heard that Smith's gone. Okay, now we know why we got Basham. But what does Basham do really well? He plays the run really well. All right. Oh, we look at Brent Urban. You look at him, his PFF ranking against the run, and you go watch the tape on him and watch him in Chicago with all those guys on the line, eat up double team blocks. Well, what have we been asking for? We need a guy to eat up double teams and keep these guys clean. He's 6'7". I think he does that. I look at what they're saying. Now, the Carlos Watkins, okay, you got a big body. Okay, that's your bar. To me, like the Carlos Watkins, I'm like, okay, you got a big body. That was bargain. I think the rest of them, you look at them, they make sense. They fit into the Quinn scheme, and they're signings that are, aimed towards helping this run defense, right? Neal coming in and playing linebacker. I love the signing because I didn't like the signing for him at safety. I wanted Donovan Wilson to go prosper. I love Neal coming in here playing will linebacker. Absolutely love it. And love what he wants to be in the mix, keep him clean, let him run and go. And look, obviously, he's going to be the best cover linebacker that we're going to have on the roster going into next year, unless somehow we end up with the Joker, perhaps. So I think to me, it's not as splashy because we don't know the names as much. But if you start looking at the tape and what they bring and understand what they're trying to do with this defense and what we've cried and begged and pleaded for to get this front seven maybe fixed and stop the run, I can at least see the plan. I see the plan. Okay, you're bringing guys here to attack this run, cover your bases, and then go draft. Now, I'm going to say it'll do better than last year because hell, no, those guys made the right. So I'm going to go with this. It's going to be better for God's sake.
You hope. Right. And as Kanye West would say, it ain't Ralph though, man. It ain't no Ralph.
We didn't go get us a Dalvin Tomlinson. We didn't go get a Harris at safety. And I think Spoon, you said before, the big guys, right? Mm-hmm. The big guys. There you go, Bluff City in the building. What's going on, brother? The big guys said, they all took them. They got tagged. We couldn't do nothing to go after them. Maybe if they were free, maybe that would have been something they would have broached and thought about doing possibly. We'll never know because they didn't do that. They wasn't available, I should say. But, at the end of the day, they are bringing in people that make sense. Like I said, the Watkins is the wild card for sure for me. The rest of them, I see the plan. I understand it. And now go get my guy Hooker, right? Go get my guy Hooker is who I like to see them go get. But either way, Spooning.
Yes, sir.
Celebrate, Xavier Woods is probably gone now. You can breathe easier.
Come on, man. Get it on. We in the club now. We in the Cowboys.
When he's in the Pro Bowl next year, man.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, obviously, again, it's time.
What up, J. Lou?
Yeah.
What up, Kearse? Hooker, I see you, Hooker.
Oh
Yo,
yeah,
man, what's good? What are we doing? We gotta celebrate, man.
Yeah, man, it's a good time, man. It's definitely a good time, and and we still get a draft, and we still get a draft pick. Like I still feel, I've said it before, we still got a draft pick that's going to come. We're probably going to add 2 more pieces to this secondary. But with that being said, guys, with that being said, let's go ahead and get over here. 2 guys came and did their pro days. We know the Cowboys were at both of said pro days. And we've got all the measurables that we're going to get. There's the tapes out there. You can do whatever it is that you want to do. Let's get to this Surtain versus Horn.
I'm sorry. I have a news update from Malik Hooker. I just want to share with you guys right now. If you don't mind real fast. He just came out and said, did I lose it? Hold on. Right here. Oh, yeah. You sure? He says, right here. Right there. Chop it up with y'all before the flight.
Man, that was 5 hours ago. He's fine.
Get out of here, man.
Who this man?
Hey, Nick's gonna get out to the DFW and stop that flight, man. He shouldn't get out of Frisco right now, man.
That was 5 hours ago.
Oh, man. Don't fake this, man.
Watch the hips, man. Watch the hips. Watch the hips. I thought you were going to say, oh, we just signed somebody. Oh, man. But here we go. Surtain Jr. versus Horn. And before we get into this, allow me to say this as I break this down on my side. Let me say, I'm not slandering either guy. Okay? I'm not slandering either guy. Wherever I'm about to follow this on this verses here, I'm not slandering either guy. Yeah, Matt Owen. Yeah, Spoonie was definitely with the fake news on us, boy. He hoodwinked us, man.
I'm sorry, man.
Look, everybody out here,
playing with our emotions, man. Y'all know how strong we are on this safety situation.
Yeah.
Breaking news. I'm grabbing my phone, like refreshing. Hey.
Golly. Boo Spoon in the comment section. Yeah. Boo this, man. Anyways, though, I'm not slandering either guy. That's not what I'm going to do here at all. That's not what I'm doing here. But I do think, to me, after, I watched tape on them about a month or so ago, and then I've let everything happen, let things develop, and I said, okay, they both were their pro days, so I want to dig back into the tape again. I wanted to watch their tape with fresh eyes after everything that's happened since the last time that I watched them, and I went ahead and did one other thing, because a lot of people say, oh, you just want to get another Diggs. I said, let me turn on the Diggs tape again. Not NFL. I want to turn on this college tape again. So I turned on the college tape of Diggs as well, too. Before that being, I'm going to spin it around. All right. I'm going to start with my guy, J Tuck. Surtain versus Horn. Who do you like?
Yeah, and I want to headline this too as well. I think a lot of people see me on Twitter saying like I'm anti Surtain Jr. I think the kid is a decent player. He just doesn't reach out as a top 10 caliber player that I feel like if we take, it's really going to push the needle forward as far as this Dallas Cowboys team. And when I first started watching film, like him and Parsons were the very first 2 people I dove into when it came time to getting ready for this draft talk. And he really didn't jump off the screen for me. Like he honestly didn't. And then it was, J.C. Horn was the second corner that I took a look at. And it was just like, my eyes were glued to him. I feel like I liked his playmaking ability, and I feel like he brings something to Dallas, something that we currently don't have. And I feel like he's a perfect contrast to what we have with Diggs. So I felt like today was a huge win for not only me, but for a lot of people who watch this channel and the Star Gang group, because a lot of us have been banging the table for J.C. Horn, and I feel like right now he actually showed and proved that he is a top 2 talent, because he was always the guy on the outskirts when it comes between Farley, Surtain, and Horn, but he put himself right in that conversation today. And so if it's up to me, I'm taking J.C. Horn over Patrick Surtain.
All right, Surtain versus Horn, what do you got?
Well, I'm gonna start off by saying this. Yesterday, Tuck forwarded a video of an interview with J.C. Horn, and I watched the interview, and I tell you this right now, it was one of the best interviews that I've seen. And the one thing I love about it was how he handled the questions. Especially the media try to force. As far as him missing the last year due to COVID, he explained with the family situation, stuff like that. But what I love so much about J.C. Horn was when they asked him about different teams that he'll fit, he would talk about the teams, what scheme they run, what players he know who might be surrounded by. And he mentioned Arizona. He mentioned Dallas. Another thing I love about it was that he mentioned the receivers that he has faced, like Deebo Samuels. And he was saying how basically these guys made him better as they went along. They were asked, well, how about the interceptions? Well, the problem was that he was a pest to these wide receivers. He makes a hell. Put it this way, he makes a wide receiver Sundays not fun. And that's what I love about J.C. Horn. It's flashy with the interception and stuff like that, but if the ball's not getting thrown to your way, you're doing something right. So that's the one thing I love about Horn. As far as Surtain, listen, he's solid. I like what Tuck said. Nothing wrong with him. I think because people get it twisted of us comparing Surtain and Kyle Pitts, that we're saying that Surtain sucks. We're not saying that. We're saying BPA. Pitts is a better player overall than Surtain. That's what it is. Now, when it gets down to cornerback, of course, for me, I'm going Horn number 1, Surtain number 2. Why? Because Horn is much faster. Okay, he's a pest at corner. I just love his attitude. Okay, now as far as all the measurements, think about it. Well, Surtain is bigger than him. Right. But the measurement favored Horn all the way through. And the one thing I preached about was if you butt on the route, how fast can you go backwards? That's the main thing. And when you look at Surtain's back pedal versus Horn's, you see a big difference. Big difference. So that's why I got Horn number 1 and Surtain number 2.
And you can tell that Horn, and Jeff Kavanaugh said this as well, you can tell that Horn saw what Surtain did yesterday in his pro day. Because even on that bench, it was just one more rep. I need to get to 19. And that's that competitive spirit. He was not going to be outdone by this kid. And I feel like it would have been even better if it was in-house at the combine. But he's just a competitor, man. And I feel like him and Diggs contrast very well. So,
okay.
But go ahead. And Nick, you got something rolled up in the field.
And I know, look, and you're right. I love that about Horn, right? I love that about Horn. He's a competitor. You go, if you turn on the Auburn tape, the one thing where you got 2 interceptions, there's only 2 in college.
Right.
He got beat early for 75 yards. And then for the rest of that game, hey man, Williams just wasn't getting done. The kid competed, right? The kid definitely competes. He is a better athlete. I would say he's a better athlete than Surtain. But then there's 2 things to me that stood out on tape. And here's the 2 things and where I'm about to pivot.
Okay.
Surtain Jr. is just as physical. He don't grab. He's physical here, and then he's off. Where Horn is, he's physical up front. He's also grabby the rest of the way. Okay. Number 2, I think football IQ wise, Surtain's better.
Yeah, he's ready.
There's communication in the secondary is vital, especially on the next level. And he communicates well, passing off, but pre-snap, because that tells me he's watching film. Oh, in particular against Joe Burrow, Thaddeus Moss and them. I know you want to hear about that chase tape. So he's there. Oh, he's I was
going to ask you about that chase tape. Yeah,
I'll get there. Hold on. He gets there. He sees it. He knows they're going to run the deep out. He's like, hey, hits it. Hey, if he comes this way, I'm gone. And you saw the communication. You saw them move and whatnot. Jones, he doesn't. Certainly does not grab nearly as much as J.C. Horn. Here's your main difference that I saw. Horn likes to feel where the route's going. If he doesn't get his hands on you, it can be an issue. As compared to where J.C., he's just a pest, like you said. Spoon and Tuck, you've said it before too. He's very pesty and stuff. He can grow out and be coached out of the handsy stuff so much. Right. But then I look at, okay, what about Dan Quinn's system? Boy, I mean, it just, to me, I want hands on you early and then dropping quickly back into a cover 3. That works very well for what Surtain does. He's 6'2", big body. I think he's a more willing and better tackler than J.C. Horn. Not that J.C. Horn doesn't compete and want to hit you, but as far as a sure tackler, and will bring the wood. I think Surtain does that as well. We've seen different guys from Bama, and I'll use particular Fitzpatrick we tried to trade for. They're kind of similar in some ways.
Yeah, Humphrey.
In some ways, but again, I think when I start looking at this system, who's more ready now? And I think the other thing too, when we evaluate and we do stuff, man, we're always looking for, what's that ceiling? Where's that at? And sometimes we rate players' ceiling because they play in a good program and they've just been so solid as a true freshman. We're like, well, that's it. That's all he's got. That's just what he's going to be. And I did that too. I said that very early on about Surtain.
Right.
And I'm like, do I really think when he gets to the next level, he's not going to really learn and get better just because he was good there? I think on those fronts for this team. Now, be clear, it's still Pitts over everything, guys. Pitts gang all day. Yeah, Pitts gang all day. And look, if I work the juju just right, maybe Farley gives us that old Dallas Cowboys second-round special, and he's sitting there at 44. Neither here nor there. But I think if they're going to stick and Pickett's in, I think I would take Surtain over Horn. I wouldn't be mad at either. Again, I'm not sliding Horn here at all. I just think at the end of the day, when you talk about bigger wide receivers, the things that he can do, I saw some people jump out and say he's Jalen Ramsey. I'm not saying whoa.
Yeah, whoa, I had to log off. I logged off.
Whoa, I'm not saying Surtain Jr. is anywhere in that stretch. However, a lot of his game, though, because we're going to start talking about hips and different things. Same things they said about Ramsey. Now, that is true.
Right.
It's fair.
Ramsey was grabby as well, handsy.
Right. And once you get to bigger corners, they're not going to be quite as fluid and things of that ilk. Now, shout out to my guy Mendoza blowing up the chat. I mean, he was the first one to really talk about Horn that I heard about.
Right.
And he's always been on Horn. And I'm kind of fluctuated, but
keep riding, man.
Yeah,
Nick's is jumping off the whip on us, man. It's all right. Let me ask you this: when you watch Surtain, and it's something I noticed on film, right? He was constantly lining up on the right side. If you go back to that LSU game, so it was Diggs that was going up against the heavy matchup versus Chase. So where is Patrick Surtain's heavy matchup? Because even if you watched versus Auburn with Seth Williams, he didn't line up that much versus Seth Williams. So who was the guy that he's pretty much his golden film?
And that goes back to why he fits this scheme is because, look, go back to the big knock on Sherman was what? He doesn't travel. He doesn't travel. And and Horn does travel now. I watched Horn travel. He does travel. However, Surtain's just not going to travel. And that goes back to what Dan Quinn likes. I want to set these two big guys over here. Okay. And I'm going to just have big guys back here. And I want these quick linebackers. And look, however y'all want to line up, that's on y'all because they want to dictate to the offense. Because if I don't make a guy chase, per se, if I don't make a cornerback chase, hey, man, I got to deal with the 6'2" guy over here no matter what we do. You mess with what the offense wants to do some. That is true. So, again, I just go back to, I like Horn. Look, and like I said, because I already know on Twitter, Knicks, you crazy. Look, I'm not hating on Horn. I'm not. But for me, I just think when I think about this defense, I think about the football IQ, I think about the size, I think about all we got to do is make sure he gets the hands on early. He's good. Man, I just think it's Surtain I would take for the Dallas Cowboys. Now, a different team and a different scheme, I might go Horn. But I think for this team, Surtain makes the most sense.
So where does he give us that Diggs doesn't currently already provide?
I mean, did you hate what Diggs did on the other side?
No, that's what I'm saying. But so we're gonna copy.
So you want? Look, and he's not. Look, he's not Diggs. Diggs is way more athletic, and Diggs also has way more of a recovery speed, if you will.
Right, because that's my one thing on Patrick Surtain. He gets beat often, but he's able to cover and create a tighter window. And so, but that's the one thing. Can you do that at the next level when you're going against top tier talent? If you get beat, sometimes you don't get the opportunity to make up and recover. And so he does create tight windows, especially in the first 15 yards. But if you watch a lot of film on him, it's just like, bro, like there's steps on him. And you made a play, or the quarterback maybe underthrown it.
And if you go back to the times where their steps get had on him, is when he doesn't get his hands on somebody.
Right. Exactly.
If he gets his hands on them, there's no separation. I don't care if you're running a straight 9 route. If he gets hands on you and he can feel you and know, he's very comfortable. If he doesn't get hands, and now that's where he does get into trouble. There's some tape where you'll see him try to lunge to get his hands at times, miss, and he has to go recover. But I mean, no matter who we're talking about, who we're taking at this point,
there's going to be some faults, right?
No, you got to work on them some. And when we talk about Horn, right? Okay, if you get Horn, okay, Now, sometimes in the NFL, he's just handsy. They let you just be kind of handsy, right? However, what if all of a sudden they're just throwing flags and you can't work that handsiness up out of horn? Because a lot of times you get grabby when you feel like you're getting beat as a cornerback, even though you're not and you're right there. If you're getting grabby, that's because you're on the edge of feeling like you're about to get beat. So again, for me, I'm not crying over spilled milk if Horn gets picked, but I think Surtain fits this defense better.
All right, we'll scrap them both. Let's go with Asante Samuel Jr. then.
Funny thing about Asante Samuel Jr., PFF actually put up who's your number one cornerback. Asante was in the he's going to be a little bit of a riser. Asante Samuel's going to. I don't think you're going to. A lot of people said you get Asante in the second round. I think by the end of this, Asante's going to go late first. I think he's going to. I think he's going to be one of those guys whose late mover is going to go up.
It's going to be between him and I think it's going to be him or Newsome that's going to be in that late first round. So yeah, but my guy showed out yesterday at Pro Day, or not, 2 days ago at Pro Day, man. So
let me jump around in the comment section and see. Go ahead, Swin. I'm gonna jump this comment section and see about how many people are pissed off at me. I done switched over.
Nah, listen, I just like Horn's swagger. I love what he loves to tweet. He's a talk. He's a bully. He's a pest. Right. And that would definitely go a long way. He has that Jalen Ramsey swagger. My thing is this: I don't want just a cornerback who could just play this defense. I want a cornerback who could play any type of defense. Right. And like I said, Surtain is the most ready guy.
Yeah, but you can't say that, though, Spoon. You can't say that, Spoon, because we just watched a guy, Kuda, get drafted. Do you think Kuda just fell off the map and was a terrible cornerback?
No, not at all. I just think a Kuda
scheme matters.
It's a scheme thing. But see, that's the thing about it. When a new coaching staff comes in, they want their own guys. So we see how these guys they recycle these players over and over and over. But I'm saying for Dallas right now, hopefully they stay in this scheme for a minute. But in case it don't work out and they decide to switch, I don't want it to be where Surtain don't fit this scheme next year. That's right. My thing. I do understand he fits this scheme that we going on. He's a big corner, 6'2". He look like a safety, like a Bill safety.
Right. Yeah, that's what I was saying yesterday. I was like,
you look like a safety.
A little free safety back there. Look.
I mean, but he looks like a safety. Yeah, I mean, but if you get your old Sherman in here, who's a taller, bigger guy, played in this scheme, boy, who's that bridge right there over there for Surtain? So
does Surtain give you guys Byron Jones vibes though? Which isn't bad, but I think when I see him, I see the ceiling kind of Byron Jones-ish. Or do you think it's higher than Byron Jones?
I mean, look, if it is Byron Jones, I can live with that. Absolutely a 10. I can live with that if it's Byron Jones. But no, I don't think so. I think his ceiling is higher. I think honestly, and look, and not that Byron Jones was a low IQ guy. I just, again, things that I kept seeing on tape and communication, because Jones didn't communicate very well. Right. I just think I think we're taking with the brass tacks. We're just talking about a pure football player. I think that Surtain is a better. I guess I'm saying Surtain and not Surtain. Jesus, but Surtain is a better. It has a chance to be a better football player than Byron Jones overall. I think his ceiling is higher. I think his ceiling's higher. Now, I mean, you got to get there. I mean, you got to get there.
Mendoza, Rome. We need to crank up that Slater talk there, man.
I see Marlon Humphrey. I see Marlon Humphrey in Surtain.
Let's crank that Slater talk, man. And here's the thing: why is he only qualified to go at 10 then? If he's that type of a dynamic cornerback,
I don't know if he does make it to 10, because again, the thing that we've discussed, everyone keeps saying there's going to be all these offensive players in the top 9. Nobody thinks like a defensive player is going to go ahead of us. Who's that? But there's a Parsons. I mean, I saw a Philly fan. Shout out here. He was trying to get some Parsons.
I'm praying that he gets his wish.
Please go ahead. Go ahead. By all means, go ahead. Philly wants to take Parsons. Please, thank you. And I get it. We made in against the Pitts versus Surtain argument. I'm like, well, I'm not scared if Surtain goes to Philly, but I am scared if Pitts goes there. With the offensive weapon and different things like that. But yeah, man, I just we can talk about NFL ready. You don't draft for that. I saw that comment a little bit earlier. Mm-hmm. But if I can draft a guy that's NFL ready and he has a ceiling, I think everyone got a little too caught up on, well, this is what Surtain is, and that's it. He's just not going to get any better. What you see is what you get. And there was a little bit that around Diggs coming into the draft last year. There was some of that oh, well, this is kind of where he is, expect whatever. And I think we saw growth from Diggs last year. Absolutely.
I'll say this. I think Surtain is the safest pick. Like, he's just it's just a pick. But if you want impact and upside, it's still Horn for me, man. Like, I
agree. Because the one thing I love a cornerback who could travel, meaning this guy's giving us a hard time on offense. You know what, Horn, change the script. I want you to travel. Right. And he's when you travel, you're trying to get number one receivers. You're not staying in one spot. And I don't like. I remember Nasi Ansawa. I remember when he was raised for years, and during free agency, the Cowboys was going to give him a big deal. But the Philadelphia came out and threw the house money at him, right? And what was the issue? The issue became that when they was facing number one receivers, he would not travel. He would stay in one spot. And his teammates got on him because of that. That's the one thing I don't like. If a guy like Horn, listen. So I like Surtain. He's again. We never say we don't like him. It was just between Pitts versus anybody else.
Yeah, which was unfair to the kid. Like,
right. Now when we go corner versus corner, I like Horn better. Why? Because he has that swag. He has that mean. He will travel with you. He will play you tough. That's just me. Yeah.
Surtain plays tough too, though. Surtain plays tough too, though. Like, y'all acting like my guy's soft. He tackles better.
No, listen. No, I'm not saying he doesn't. I like Surtain, but I like. Listen, for me, it's Horn, Surtain, and then let's see what happens with Farley and everybody else. Hell, if you don't get nobody there, I want me Greg Newsome in the second round.
And Joseph, of course, we're not going to play cover 3 all the time. But when we're not in cover 3, it's going to be a lot of cover 2 man. And again, now he has even another safety over the top, and he's still going to be handsy and move across. So no, I mean, of course, I'm going to play cover
either or. We're going to do this. Either or, we're gonna do one. It's an upgrade at the position. That's what it is.
Man, he might do this.
Hopefully he's home.
No. See, there y'all go. There y'all go with that, man. Everybody jumping in, man. I appreciate everybody jumping in with the difference and whatnot. Again, I just think, man, I think if it's all right, as I was watching the tape today, man, I was like, and look, I mean, you know what, Horn, to a certain extent, we were talking about him being a little get some of your skin a little bit. Oh boy, they got pieced up by Andre Johnson. Used to play for the Titans. Light-skinned fella. Dadgum, what's his dadgum name? I forgot his name. I should have looked it up before we got on here. Anyways, he was always scrappy and up underneath, people's, underneath their jersey a little bit and stuff. Not I'm saying they're the same player. I'm just that kind of scrappiness. I definitely see the scrappiness from Horn.
To have Diggs out there, have that scrappiness and Horn, and then you have a Neal out there with DeMarcus Lawrence and Randy. Yeah, so Finnegan.
Finnegan, Cortland Finnegan. Yeah, Cortland Finnegan. Yeah, that's him. For sure, man. Shout out to my guys in here. Throwing them up there real quick as well. I just but again, look, Surtain, well, I mean, like I said, he'll hit you and he'll do some things. And I think when I think about Dan Quinn and what he wants to do, right? To me, it just kind of seems like I think it's going to go that way. But we're still going to do.
But JC Horn has Dan Quinn's homeboy on the side, so
he does best friend supposedly.
Yes,
and he just bought a house in Irving Tech. He just bought a house in Irving too. So who just bought that off? JC Horn. JC Horn in Irving.
I know he was looking in Frisco.
You didn't see the house?
I know he was looking in Frisco. I didn't know if he actually bought one.
Oh. You know what? Maybe I misread it. Maybe he was just looking. I thought it was a housewarming, so I was looking through the oh, man, look at that. But we'll see.
All right, pay with that. Real quick, no, wait. Hooker ain't signed yet? No? Daggone it. Yeah. All right. But yeah, man, now again though, and the thing that we've talked about, the separation isn't, these pro days as it gets to in between as we're talking about, Surtain, we're talking about our guy Horn here. Or y'all's guy, he's still my guy though. I still like him. Is that again? It gets back. I mean, the separation.
They both didn't run the shuttle though. They both skipped on the shuttle.
They both skipped down the shuttle in that 3 cone. I said, interesting. I kept looking for them numbers, couldn't see it. I'm good. Yeah, we've done enough. But again, you got Samuel that's coming up the board, right? Newsome now is coming up the board because we got the Underwear Olympics happening and everything, and just want to make sure tape maybe matches what you're seeing with their workouts. The thing that does get me excited is if we don't get one of these guys. Now, I don't think either one of these guys gets past. We talk about 10. I don't think they get past 12. 13.
Trade
So
back. It's out the option now. It's out.
Yeah. If you want one of these guys, I don't think you're going to be able to trade back. You can't trade the 15 to get one. I don't think that's going to be the case now at all. So there's that. But I'm still excited if we don't get a cornerback, guys, here in the first round. And let's say Samuel Jr. does go up late in the first round. I mean, we can still be right there at 44 and still get somebody.
Right.
And we got to see, because now with and we're talking about, I saw somebody said take the guy with the high ceiling. I mean, Caleb Farley still might be the guys with the high ceiling. Got all three of these guys, to be clear.
He's bigger, he's faster too, so
right. He's faster, right? So, depending on how far he falls, right, there's some conversation to see what that's going to push down and whatever happens. Do you guys think, let's say they don't go Surtain or Horn at the end, and let's say Farley makes it to 25. Do you think the Cowboys would be willing to go up and go get Farley at 25?
For me, no.
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Is there a cornerback, if they make it to that 25, 26, 27 range, that you would want to move up for?
I think Eric Stokes is moving up hard from Georgia. Okay. Eric Stokes.
Would you trade up for Stokes?
If I'm in 25 range?
Yeah, 25, 26. You think about Stokes?
So trading out the second to move back up into the first?
Right, to move up to the first. Right. Is there a corner that you would move up?
I tell you right now, I like. Listen, I'm Asante Samuels Jr. I know he don't got the height, but he's. Listen, you don't need height like that, And I would definitely move for him or Stokes. Those are the two guys, and all Newsome.
Right.
All Newsome. Any of those three right there, I would definitely move up in the. They're not going to all go second round purely. They're going to rise up that draft board, because with all these receivers, this is an offensive-minded league. You need you want corner with speed to be able to cover these guys. And you have a lot of fast guys in that second round that they may not last all second round. Against late first. If anything, the offensive line going to fall, in my opinion.
Now, would you, if Caleb Farley, you just said at 44, Caleb Farley was on the board at 44.
I'll do it.
Would you pull the trigger?
Yeah, 44. Yeah, absolutely.
So we could get maybe a Pitts, Waddle, and Slater maybe, and then backdoor down here with the. I don't know if he falls that far. That's something, the key thing. Like, that's one of the big things we'll have to kind of monitor between now and the draft. Getting the surgery. They're saying he's going to be back in June or July. Be ready to go. It's kind of minor, but again, if he's sitting there at 44, what smells like Dallas, right? A little bit of an injury problem. He said that last year, but he's got all the upside in the world. You know what? He's an ugly baby, but he's our baby. Come on down, Caleb Farley. So that would definitely be intriguing if he actually made it to 44. The draft gods will kind of look upon us if he can be healthy and what he can do.
That's a steal, man.
Yeah.
So.
Boom, we got trade up for Greg Newsome.
I like Newsome. I like Newsome. Like if I'm going to move up to somebody, it'll have to be. 25 is a little steep, but if we're going to do it, I would think it'd be for Newsome or my guy Samuel. To be honest with you,
here's the thing: when you move up, it's not you're only moving up because the guy you like. You're also moving up because you see what's behind.
Right.
If you don't, you got to ask yourself: you don't get this guy here, what do we have a chance to get after? So my thing is, if because Greg Newsome, he's already put out Molden is put out there where there's no secret. You can't hide these guys no more. So if you go to number 25 and you move back up, you're gonna look, well, what's behind us so we can wait for.
Right.
Okay.
And that's why I say move up. Get out of the way.
But my guy's also sliding as well, Nick Bolton out of Missouri. So I'm seeing him kind of tailor off.
Moving up too.
Yeah, so if we're able to hop back in and get a Nick Bolton, man, because I would personally like to attack the linebacker position. I'm still not satisfied with what we got currently in house. So if you're able to get Bolton or possibly your guys Spoon and Collins, then I think that will be worth it. So
me Matt on space did a mock draft. We got Pitts at 2. We got your boy Bolton at 44 now.
Yeah. Just to let you know. Yeah, just a lot of mocks, man. So if Bolton is there, I'm all for it. So.
Yeah. Would you trade up for a free? Would you trade up for a free safety? Richie Grant, do you want to trade up for a free safety?
No, because I think my guy's sliding too, so I'll still sit back and get.
I'll wait for safety.
Mighty
Mouse,
so.
Word. Michael saying, what about more picks? No, sir. We got 10 picks now. I think it's all about moving up. In rounds 2 through 5, man, it is all about moving up, man. Like I said, we got 10 picks. We don't need 10 players. I truly expect the Cowboys are going to be very busy moving up and not trying to add picks here. So I'm excited. Right. I'm excited to see them get on that. Hey, our boy Big Game James checking in. I'll be directly after this, man. I'm popping over to Silver Blue Nation and going live with my guy James. He says, "Man, I told you, man. Swoop came with the glasses on." I said,
"Hey, listen,
I see the stunner shades on."
I said, give me the best one I can get. I appreciate that, brother.
Okay, but yeah. So double dip at linebacker says Marvel. Hey, man, I just to me. It has to be something, I think, and we're talking about the trade-up scenarios, right, via the draft, no matter what we do, it's got to be something that was pretty high on our board that has to get in range for us to do it.
Right.
Obviously, there's some work to do there to see if something happens and who that guy would be. I'm kind of with you guys. I got to let free agency settle a little bit more. I think we're getting a hooker. I still do believe we're going to get an outside corner. Obviously, like I said, we were talking about last night. They have reached out to Richard Sherman. They're waiting to see what he wants to do. And what if they add another linebacker? What if they add another edge? There's still, I think there's a couple more signings we're going to see on this team before I can just sit here and say. Now, on the cool, I think if there's a position that I would trade up for, it might be linebackers we're talking about.
Right.
If the right guy's there, especially we're talking about like day one, right? The first pick of the second round, and one of those guys are there that they won at linebacker on that board, where it's a Bolton or say a Xavier Collins falls. I'm that Spoons guy. Man, I'm shooting up at that point. I'm like, okay, I'm going from 44 and I'm going to 33 right now, and I want to go get this guy.
Because linebacker is more shallow than corner in this draft. So it's like if you're going to get a linebacker, you're going to have to actually be more aggressive to get one, especially early. So
you want to hit him with a swipe? Want to hit him with a swipe real quick?
Hey, clear views.
You want to get that swipe on real quick? My guy Spoon said, man, we got safeties in the house. Yeah, things are happening. Xavier Woods is out. I gotta come through and stud on everybody one time.
Listen.
Hey,
again,
man,
we've had
Jackson, man. You flipping before you in the end zone. I'm telling you.
Hey, I'm not trying to put. Hey, look, man. And I'm not trying to put Sherman in here, but the reports are out there, and they have called him. I mean, it's out there. He just hasn't picked up the phone yet. I'm with you. I'm not definitely saying we should get Sherman, but if they're making the call, we'll see what happens.
I think with the extra third round pick the Cowboys have, I would definitely move up for another starter. In the first, you're gonna get yourself two players in the top 100. You can definitely do that. And if you can move up to get yourself another linebacker who's falling, or maybe an offensive lineman, that's another thing too that we could consider. Somebody who's falling and take advantage of that. I'm fine with that because everything else is pretty much depth. Another safety, they're pretty much third round. Another 3 technique defensive tackle. You could get those guys later in the rounds. Another receiver later in the rounds. Basically, cornerback, maybe linebacker or offensive line are the 2 or 3 positions that you can knock out in the first 2 picks. And top 100 players.
Yeah.
We are not allowed to say number 25's name no more. Let's cut that out.
Okay, we're done.
We're done. He's out.
We're done. He's out. We're out of the woods. We're out of the woods and safety, if you will. I think my guy man don't appreciate the dad joke there. Out of the woods and safety now. All right. The other thing too is, as we're looking at and back to what Owen said, man, you can actually move up from the 10th pick to the number 7 pick and just give up a third. Yeah. Would you be interested in going from 10 to 7, just giving up a third? You got 2 thirds. Are you willing to go up to 7-4? Oh man, there's Pitts. Do I need to go and give up this third and go get Pitts or anybody else outside of Pitts? If there's a guy outside of Pitts, even
I'm gonna give you 2 guys for me. It's either Pitts or if you have a plan for Gallup, a plan that we don't know yet, Chase. Only 2 players I do it for. Pitts and Chase.
No Waddle for you? No Waddle for you?
Nah, I think Waddle you can stay put.
Okay.
Only if you got a plan for Gallup. If it's something's gonna happen with Gallup and you're gonna trade him, you got plans on it, I say move up, get Chase or Pitts, and then you can do what you can do for Gallup. That's the only way.
All right, J Tuck, 10-7. Give
Yeah,
up a third.
you already know. I said it yesterday, man. You can have them thirds, them fourths, them fifths, whatever you want, bro, to move up and get me Pitts or Chase. I'm all in, man. Because I feel like right now, I feel like this is what's going to have to take, man. Because I feel like, unfortunately, the Eagles are going to make that move, and so I feel like one of those two is going to slide to us. But will we make the move at 10? I don't think so. So, yeah, I'm all for moving up, man. Because I think that's going to solidify either getting a Chase, Pitts, or either a Slater or a Penny Sewell, because you think about it, those quarterbacks are going to go, and then it really just comes down to what's going to happen after that. So,
let's talk about that, right? Let's talk about Sewell and Slater, and let's say they fall that way, or you have a chance at one of them. Mm-hmm. Who do you think could come in here and be the guard right away out of those two?
Guard or just
guard, right? Because they're gonna come in with the help. Right? It's got to be a guard.
Slater will be guard.
Yeah,
I think for sure. But I think if they're both on the board, I'm taking Penny Sewell, and just make it happen.
Do you think Sewell can? Do you think Sewell can play guard in the league?
No, but Lyle Collins can. So.
Oh, there you go. Okay. All right. I like it.
So there you go. Yeah. We can move some stuff, move some furniture around, make it happen.
I think he could play guard. Lyle Collins, he was a tackle, came in playing guard. I think he could play guard. But listen, I wouldn't be mad if they say Lyle Collins go back to guard. He already got paid off already, and he's not the contract's not that crazy. And I'll put Sewell at tackle, because sometimes it's better off if you're gonna go to left tackle. It's better off to get used to it playing right tackle for season. So I would visit that role and see, hey, Lyle, go to guard. Let Sewell go to right tackle, because next season, if Tyron's not here, then he could go to left tackle, and then you go from there.
Right. I think Slater definitely would be the guard off the rip. I think Sewell, obviously, he's your future left tackle, as Mendoza just threw out there. He believes he can play guard as well. So I would be excited. Look, I don't think we have to go offensive line that round, but depending on how the board falls in front of us, guys, that's what we just kind of have to look at and be prepared. The thing that I do like as we're getting through this, process, if you will, the free agents are happening. We're evaluating these guys. We're going back and watching film with some of these guys a second and some of them a third time. We're starting to see like the board some of the fogs are starting to disappear,
right?
And now that I think we've done the Lord's work here, guys, with a lot of people, and open them up to the idea that offense at 10 can be okay. Because about a month ago we were doing these shows, and man, we was everything. Boy, my goodness, we were crazy. Y'all are wild. So we've at least done to chop the wood there. And now when you open up your eyes to the possibility of offense at 10, the number 10 pick looks a lot more sexier now, right? Looks a lot more sexier. We talked about maybe one of these offensive linemen or a guy like Waddle taking the top off, or Pitts. Okay, hey, we're arguing. Hey, do you like 2 lumps of sugar or 3 lumps of sugar in your tea, whether it's Horn or if it's Surtain, and those things that are happening, which are exciting. I definitely think, and we'll get out of here. See, we got 8 more minutes. Fire off any questions y'all got. We got 8 more minutes before we get out of here. And then, man, slide over to Silver Blue Nation. I'm going to be over there with my guy, Big Game James. He's having me on, man. Great show as always with him. What I'll backdoor and say is, do you think, and we're talking about 10, and we've always said the trade down scenario, and maybe we do this or do that. Do y'all think at this point, any way, shape, or form that the Cowboys would trade off of 10, trade down, that is?
There'll be a possibility, but I feel like they got to have a real plan in place before they do it. And at this point, it's like I don't know how far they could possibly risk the trade back, because what are they actually after getting? So maybe a linebacker, yeah, they could possibly pull it off. But if it's really cornerback, I don't see you can do that, especially right now. So I don't think they will at this point, man. To be honest with y'all, I feel like the Cowboys at this point, they're going to get what they want, grab it, and move on. So I don't see them really making a trade and doing the trade back option anymore, because I feel like the cover is going to be bare for anything that we really need. So,
all right, Spony, we stick it at 10. Or you think there's a chance we're going to be trading back?
I have more coming. No, I feel more they'll trade up if anything. I think once they do their board, and they find out who they really, really like or who they really want to see on this team, I think if anything, they'll trade up a couple of spots. But as far as going back now, and especially at number 10, somebody can fall in their lap. A Sewell can fall to their lap. Slater should be there around 10. Corner, they want to have choices.
All right. Do you think if they lock in on one of these corners, will we see another Mo Claiborne situation go from 10 to 5 or 6 and go nab the corner they absolutely want, whether it be Horn or Surtain? Do you think they would go that far?
No, I don't think. Okay. I don't think they trade up for a corner. I think they'll trade up either if Sewell dropping. If he's dropping, I can see the Cowboys say, you know what, let's trade up to get Sewell. Right. If Pitts is dropping, because Stephen Jones, like he came out and said, listen, we all know the free agency, they're penny pinches. But the one thing, the draft wise, it's been solid. And the one thing he said at Dak's press conference was, if somebody's available, we don't go after needs, we go after BPA. Right. And they still pat with CeeDee Lamb. They didn't have to move because Atlanta came up and right in front of them took AJ Terrell. They're like, you got to move. So I can see them go after somebody. Mm-hmm.
Breaking news here from O.C. Walker said word is Kazi is 51 to 49% slight edge over Hooker from what he is hearing currently. FYI.
I won't play them. Listen, I don't care. Listen. I don't
Spoon don't care if it's me.
I don't care if
one. As long as it ain't Woods. As long as it ain't Woods. Cowboy fan saw Mitchell Rome's in the building says, do you think that they will consider edge anywhere in the draft since we cut ties with Alden Smith? Absolutely. Yeah. I think that, now obviously Basham's there, but I think late, a guy that I'm circling right now, and we'll kind of see, I've been watching tape, is my guy Rump out of Rump the second from Duke. And look, he kind of fits this mold because he does the edge, but he can kind of slide inside, right? Mm-hmm. Kind of fits the front of what Dan Quinn likes to do. So Chris Rump was a guy that I think I would look at day 3. If you want to dig up some tape on him, I like the tape, and that could be something. I don't know if they're going to go high in the draft on a guy.
Right.
I don't know if they're going to go in the first, 3 rounds per se for an edge guy, but I can see them. It'll depend. If they add a guy in free agency, I don't know if they're going to do anything. Yeah. But if they don't add a guy, I can see them day 3 adding some edge in there. But remember, Basham was basically a precursor to Alden Smith being out the door. That's what that kind of boiled down to. And, of course, we're going to see Gregory step through that door, right? Obviously, we still have the Bradley Nyes of the world. Our guy that was dropping in coverage way too much, Dorrance Armstrong's in the building. So, the room is, there's guys in the room for sure. Right. Guys, guys on the edge, you think in the draft anywhere?
Yeah, Mendoza just mentioning my guy J-Rob out of Florida State. I feel like he'll be a project type player, but he's a physical specimen. So I feel like that's a guy that can plug in. So yeah, but the hard part, about this, like I said, it's crowded, man, because there's so many guys. Because are we going to bring Dorrance Armstrong back? And it's really till we get an understanding of what Quinn wants. But I think that the Cowboys won't be able to help themselves not taking an edge rusher, because that's what they always kind of like. Like they like edge rushers, pass rushers, or whatnot. So there'll be some guy probably in the 3rd, 4th round with one of these comp picks that the Cowboys will reach out to for the edge rushing position. So
I know two guys they were talking. They have talked to Osasi from Texas. That's one guy. The next one is Phillips from Miami Hurricanes, and the last one, I don't know if he's in relation to Basham that we got. No, but Basham Jr. He's from Wake Forest. That's another guy who's rushed up the board pretty soon, and they were saying at least maybe a 4th rounder or 3rd or 4th rounder. So listen, that's something they're going to address.
Joe, you're in my head a little bit because this is my very next question. Now, I'm not trading my 10th pick for Gilmore, but but if you traded down from 10 to 15, and for your troubles, you took Gilmore off their hands. I understand he wants a new deal. You got to pay him. Would you swap? Would you go from 10 to 15 and they say, hey, take Gilmore?
Yeah, I'll do that.
You'll do that? You'll pay him and do it? Okay, Spoony, you go from 10 to 15, even if Pitts is on the board. You're not going to get –
Hold on.
Even if Pitts is on the board, are you taking that trade?
No. Listen, I'm sorry. If Pitts is there, I'm running to the stage. I'm taking – matter of fact, put it this way. Thank God the draft is not in Vegas this year, because I might have jumped inside the water by the Bellagio Hotel and swam. Pitts is the guy all day long. But I would definitely trade, swap picks, take Gilmore, and go to 15. At 15, I would go after Slater.
Okay,
if he's there.
David Law said, if Gregory Rousseau is available at 44, do the Cowboys pull that trigger? I don't think so. What do y'all think, guys?
Y'all better be worried about Russo at 10, man.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna make it to 44 anyways. But I don't think that's going to be the pick it's in either. Cowboys going to tell backdoor that says, I would do it, but now Pitts is there.
Yeah, we convert them, man. Convert them, man.
Convert them. Boom. And it says, no, I want the young blood. So Florida Cowboys not going to do that.
That's fair.
Swap and take Gilmore off their hands. I mean, again, it depending on how you want to build this thing and what you want to do. Man, I want to throw this stuff for my guy, Justin. Man, something we have banged the table here for all last year. All of us here that you see. Man, yes, get him on the field.
Right.
Please. My goodness, please get him on the field. But with that being said, man, Jay Tuck, I'm gonna let you go pay some bills, man, before we get up out of here.
Yeah. What's up, fam, man? You guys can follow me on Twitter at JTuck151. I appreciate all the support. And also follow me on my YouTube channel, Cowboys Fans Only. Comment, like, subscribe. And of course, y'all can catch me with my Star Gang family, man. So I appreciate each and every one of y'all.
Yeah, man. Spooning.
Listen, you can find me here at Star Gang with BJ Nix and Miss Mariella. I'm home. And on Twitter, you can find me at Spoonie881, especially tonight if a deal gets down. I'm gonna make Twitter's gonna have a party tonight. We're gonna celebrate. Raw party.
I like it. Yeah, Mary Ellen, unfortunately, she was caught up with some clients from Japan. Konnichiwa. So she wasn't able to make it this week. Hopefully, she'll be back on next week with us as always. Man, I'm gonna be hopping off of here. Like I said, Silver and Blue Nation is where I'll be at with my guy Big Game James right after this. Man, of course, if you're on YouTube, please, man, we appreciate y'all so much. Hit that sub, that notification button. That's what got Tuck said somewhere down there. That little red subscribe thing, down there. Hit that. If you're on Facebook, find us on YouTube at that Star Gang Podcast. Just spaces in between, nothing like that. And man, make up follow your guy Nick's on Twitter, man. Your _guy _Nick's. Man, we having a good time, and now we had to clear the air a little bit that we're not slandering no players. We're just saying who we like and pounding the table.
Right.
Yeah. We're not slandering. We're not slandering.
Here's the thing. If we take Surtain, man, I'm gonna be mad, but then I'm gonna go out and buy me a Surtain jersey and get to work, man. So it is what it is. Listen, y'all see whose jersey I got back here you know.
You want a Ramsey.
Man, that's a whole different story. Man.
And we'll get out of here on this. My guy Rome, I'm 100% converted. Pitts is the pick if he's there.
Let's get it,
man. We man, we've just done the God's work, man. That's all we try to do. Right. We try to do the Lord's work for Cowboys Nation, from our lips to his ears. And we hope. I know last year you had the lamb, you couldn't do nothing else. That's okay. Look, we'll get it here. Don't you worry. It'll happen. Every Wednesday during the offseason, though, 8 p.m. Central, we're always live here. But if you hit that notification bell, man, you don't know. You might catch a Light Night Crib tea from me and old Tuck and Ciroc might be flowing in the building. We might go 5-6 hours. You never know. But you can know if you hit the notification bell.
Right.